Hello and welcome to the demonstration of how to upload a new consumption file to the ImproRisk web application. As a reminder, ImproRisk is a web application tool to conduct deterministic dietary exposure assessment. You need basically two files, two datasets, the consumption file and the occurrence file. Today, we are going to discuss how to upload a consumption dataset to the model. First, you go to tab Consumption and you click Upload a new consumption file. Here you can read the file specifications that are mandatory for the consumption file to be uploaded to ImproRisk. First, we need consumption data with food consumption occasions at the participant level. The file needs to be, for the time being, an Excel file, either .xlsx or XLS. And there are some mandatory data fields. We need a unique identifier for each consumption occasion, a unique participant ID, a day indicator. This is a positive integer from 1 to 5. This is the day of the consumption. Of course, we need the amount of food. This amount of food, it's a raw quantity of the consumed food. And this amount of food needs to be in grams or ml for liquids. The amount of F cooked, it's the cooked amount of the consumed food. The full food X code, the gender of the participant. Here we have some valid values, male, female, or other. A numeric variable, age, which is the age in years. The weight of the participant in kilograms. The area of the participant, this is free text. You can type in whatever you want. The population class. This is the participant's population class, and it's according to EFSA's guidance, where the valid values are infants, toddlers, other children, adolescents, adults, elderly, and pregnant women. And last but not least, we need the weight coefficient, the WCOEF. This is the weighting coefficient where we can adjust the exposure assessment for representativeness in the population. Here we use frequency weights. I will show you an example of all the mandatory data fields right now. I have an example data set here. This is an Excel file. It's a sample. We have 2,000 consumption occasions. The subject ID, the day, the amount of food in grams, the cooked food, if applicable, if the food is cooked. Here we have the food name. It's not really necessary for ImproRisk to upload the food name, only the food X code, since we can get the food name, the food X2 classification food name from the food X code. We have the gender, the age, the weight, the area, the population class, and the weight coefficient. This needs to be a frequency weight. As I said, you can read more on the link in the description here. It's a Wikipedia link. Just as a note, if you couldn't adjust your sample for representativeness for the population, you can add weight coefficient for all consumption occasions as 1. Now when we upload the consumption data, ImproRisk will run a series of validation checks for the file format and the mandatory data fields, as well as the name of the field and the content of the field, such as amount of food and amount of food cooked needs to be numeric, unique identifier for a serial, and subject ID. You will see that in a bit. So let's upload a sample. I have one here. Let's upload this one first, which has some errors, so you can see the process. It's reading the file, verifying the dataset, and it's notifying the user that there are some problems with the dataset. We have the column content, missing values, and here you can see your uploaded dataset. Let's go to the column content. We can see here that all the green entries means that it's the content is okay. The red entries means the content is not okay. There are some issues. Serial, we need unique values. We've got 2 cases, which is not unique. The amount of food, we need a positive value. We've got 2 cases. And the population class, we have 1 case, which is false. We also have some missing values here. Now, to investigate these errors, we can download here an XLX workbook. It's an Excel workbook with the errors found. Let's have a look at this. Great. So we have serial, amount of food, population class, and missing. In serial, we see we have 2 serials which are not unique. So we can locate this in our dataset and perhaps change one or remove one. We have the amount of food which is not positive. That's here. So we can look up the unique identifier of the consumption occasion from here. Maybe change that, population class, and some missing values. For the amount of food, we cannot accept missing values for the raw ingredient, but there is no problem for the amount of food cooked. Now, what you can do is still proceed and import this dataset to ImproRisk. All the problematic entries will be automatically removed, and ImproRisk will exclude this. And this is a total of 15 cases. That's 3.56% of all cases that you uploaded in the consumption file. So it's up to you if you want to totally exclude this or just import a new consumption dataset, or fix this and import it again. Let's import and see how it goes. Now, ImproRisk detected that a new consumption dataset is uploaded, and it informs the user that recalculation of the exposure is needed. We need to go to exposure assessment, exposure tab. That's here. First, we verify that we have now 480 rows and 11 rows of consumption. Let's go to exposure and we recalculate the assessment. Let's go and see how it goes when we upload fully correct dataset. Let's go to consumption, upload. I have one here, I think. That's one. It's a sample. It's a 2000 occasion sample from lot 1. Reading, verifying. Now you get a note that this dataset has passed all validation checks. Let's upload to ImproRisk. They know that a recalculation is needed. We go to exposure. Before the average was this. Now we recalculate. Now we get new exposure statistics. And I think that concludes the demonstration to upload a new consumption data. In a new video, you will see how to upload an occurrence dataset. Thank you very much for watching.